Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our party. I'll start with a welcome to country. So we pay our respects to the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, on whose land we are gathered, and to their leaders past, present and emerging. Thank you very much for coming to our very first Cyber Minds event. We did do a launch last year, but it wasn't anywhere near as impressive as this. This is impressive because you're here, and because this is a way of signifying, I think, as an industry, our mutual recognition for an issue that is both very pressing, but also has a positive story around what can be done about it. So Cyber Minds is that story, and tonight we're going to tell you a little bit about what we're doing, why we're here, and we're going to have a panel discussion after the main course, or just before the main course, where you'll hear a number of perspectives, but particularly tonight, I would like to welcome the Honourable Victor Dominello, Minister for Customer Service and Digital Government in New South Wales, a pioneer in his own right. Victor, we just wanted to bring people together to recognise and to honour your contribution to the industry and to a recognition of the role of cybersecurity, and more particularly, and from our point of view, the immediate support that you gave us when we formed last year. And I just really wanted to publicly acknowledge that in the presence of all these leaders here that are here tonight. And you will have an opportunity, hopefully, or you will, to speak because you're on the agenda. So. I'm wearing three hats tonight. In fact, I'm the MC, I'm giving the founder's address, and I'm also the comedian. So that was the comedy segment. Seriously though, the purpose of tonight is to thank a lot of people, first off, because I think it's always good to start with a thank you so you don't forget anybody, and there's a lot of people that I need to thank. Secondly, I wanted to talk a little bit about purpose, the concept of purpose, and how it applies to this venture that we're on as a collaboration, as a sector. But in particular, how Cyber Minds sees ourselves as contributing to that sense of purpose. And finally, I want to talk about the power of partnerships and what it is that we can do together. And in doing that, I will be recognising the partnerships that we've already formed in our brief 7 months of existence, if you can believe that. But really going forward, the excitement that we bring to the partnerships that we're forming now. And I've got a few announcements to make tonight that will give you a flavour of what we hold in store. But first, before I go any further into the substance of my address, Michael Kirby is our patron, the Honourable Michael Kirby, former High Court Justice. He is unfortunately travelling at the moment overseas, but he was kind enough to record a short video. So with your indulgence, please give your attention for a couple of minutes as we hear from our patron.
I'm Michael Kirby, and I am proud to be the patron of Cyber Minds. And I apologise that I can't be with you on this gala occasion. I pay respects to the Honourable Victor Dominello and to the support that has been given by many leading citizens to advancement of concern about the human side of the impact of new technology and of our need to protect it, and not only by legal means. When I was first asked, I remembered the work that I had done 40 years ago in the OECD concerned with the protection of privacy in the context of new communications and computing technology. I realised then that things could be done and that laws could be passed, but I didn't realise then the importance of ensuring that with the passage of laws you also ensure the respect and protection of the human beings who are involved in the challenges that the technology presents. In recent months we've seen the Optus attack and the Medibank attack and other invasions of personal records and files, and of the stress and pressure that this puts on individuals. So that's why Cyber Minds is an important development to assist governments, to assist corporations and to assist individuals in the protection of their mental health. And I congratulate Peter Coroneos and his colleagues on this development, and I encourage you to support it and to yourself spread the message that mental health and mental well-being and peace in the world and in our own minds is an important element of human existence that we have to protect and respect into our own age.
It's hard to actually follow an act like that, even though it was a video. But I've known Michael Kirby for over 20 years. He's been a mentor to me and helped me in other roles that I've played. And I must say, I'm always intimidated in his presence, even though he's very friendly. As a legally trained person, when we were in law school doing moots and practicing arguing before judges, and they weren't even real judges, I got a sense, and later actually, we were involved in a High Court action. I think you might remember the Goodnick case back in 2001. It was the first internet defamation case in Australia, made legal history. It was a massive case that went all the way to the High Court. And I remember seeing the barristers argue before these judges, one of whom was Michael Kirby, and you feel the laser focus that comes onto them as they're trying to argue. Victor, being a lawyer as well, knows. I mean, it's almost an incendiary sort of laser focus. And whenever I sit with Michael Kirby, I'm just really careful about what I say, because you know that he's literally interpreting your words, and I think it's a great sort of mental exercise actually to be so focused and present, because you know that you're dealing with a towering intellect with phenomenal insight. And we were just so privileged when he accepted our invitation to become patron. I think it validates for us, and hopefully for you, the legitimacy of this enterprise that we're engaged in. And so again, we very much appreciate the support. While I'm thanking people, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Cyberminds board, Richard Mogg, Kyoko Toyota, who's not here with us tonight, but here in spirit, Dr. Andrew Reeves as well. We're a very small board, very focused. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Michael De Rosario, who's sitting down there. Michael is a partner of Cause that jumped in straight away and offered us free pro bono legal support to incorporate us and to get us on our way. And I want to acknowledge Paul's support and Michael's personal support as our special advisor. Also, I want to acknowledge, and he's not here tonight, Dr. Richard Miller, who is the founder of the iRest Institute in California, and he is the developer of the protocol that we use to deliver mental health support to cyber teams. And those of you that are at the Mimecast event in this very room actually this morning, I would have got a 10-minute taste of the protocol and have a sense of what it is that we are going to be delivering. And I think the feedback that we got was immediate, really. I mean, Nick was there, and Peter Bauer, the global CEO of Mimecast, whose presence I would also acknowledge at this point. But thank you for coming to this event. But I mean, everyone got a taste, a sense of what it feels like to move out of the flight or fight mode and into a deeper, calmer state. And the beauty of the iRest protocol, without going too much into the neuroscience this time of the night, is that it actually starts to reconfigure the brain. And over 8 weeks, we found in the science and the research supports the fact that it actually creates a new default state in you, which is this calmer, clearer, less anxious, more present state of mind. And that's the kind of resilience that we talk about when we talk about human resilience inside the mind. So we've got the protocol now. Actually, at this point, there is in your gold envelopes a gift from us. It's actually a QR code of a recording, a full 35-minute demonstration of the protocol. Normally you say, don't try this at home. But in this case, I'd say, do try this at home. This is something that you can do with headphones, lying down in bed or in a chair, and you'll get a sense of how it feels to move out of this sort of always on hypervigilant state of the mind into a deeper, calmer state. And that's how we're building resilience. A constant immersion in that state, particularly with the recordings that we provide our trainees, is really the secret sauce in how this whole thing functions. And in order for it to work, we of course needed a developer, and that developer is Dr. Dominello in California. Now also tonight, Stephanie Lopez, who was his protege and the senior trainer at the iRest Institute, was actually intending to be here to give our keynote address. But because of visa issues, honestly, Victor Dominello, federal government needs to take a leaf out of your book in the delivery of government services, and I hope there may be some lessons they might learn from the way that you re-engineered and pioneered efficient delivery of government services. Without being too critical, Stephanie's not here, but we have a panel discussion instead, which I hope will also be fruitful for you. Moving through the thank yous, Kevin Shaw is the head of our ambassador program. Many of you know Kevin. He's a CISO, a cyber leader in his own right over decades. And having first-hand experience of the stresses of the job, we couldn't think of a more ideal candidate to run our ambassadorial and volunteer program. And he'll be on the panel tonight. I also want to thank our volunteers who came at short notice. They were the ones with the scanners downstairs. They've just come out of nowhere to assist. And I won't name you all, but thank you for your support. In particular, I'd like to acknowledge and thank my daughter, Eleni Coroneos, who is somewhere in the room. Not only is she beautiful, and there she is, and intelligent and highly capable, and in fact helped organise this event with me in 2 months from beginning to end, from concept to execution, but she's also genetically gifted. So I'd like to thank her for Alexander Zakharov-Roy, many of you know, one of Australia's top technology journalists. So a round of applause for Alex. He's given so much time, so much energy. We can't do enough to help us, and he's here again tonight, filming the whole event. And Alex, we just thank you from the bottom of our heart. This is the kind of support that we are getting that means that we're building a brand even as we speak. It's such an early stage in our development. It's been quite amazing. I'd also like to thank Darren Kane and over on the NBN table. Thank you, Darren, and also Simon Harvey, who can't be here tonight. Both great advocates for mental health, and I really appreciate the work you've been doing in raising awareness. And I guess our role is to pick up the ball and take it a few yards further down the field, as it were, into the delivery now of actually doing something about this critical issue that you've so poignantly pointed to. It's something that really needs to be a focus. I want to acknowledge, Darren, that you're here tonight and that you brought members of your team to hear about what we're doing. Ted Egan, also a big advocate of our cause. Ted, you've been a great support already, working in the background, networking on our behalf, getting us into the right conversations with the right people. Thank you, Ted, for being here tonight. I also want to, on your table, I believe there's Megan Faulkner, it's your wedding anniversary tonight. So, I'm not sure how I knew that, but that shows you the sacrifice people are prepared to make in the cause of cyberminds. They would even give us a wedding anniversary to come and be with us. Now, I said I'd talk about purpose, but I just want to talk about partnership. We are partners with the New South Wales Government Cybersecurity Centre and Tony Chapman. They came on board as our first founding partner last year, and that was due to the Minister's urging and support and endorsement of our program. Tony can't be here tonight, but I want to just acknowledge the value that we place on the validation that you get when a government comes in and says, we're going to partner with you. And indeed, we have 3 pilot programs that are shortly to begin with the New South Wales Cyber Team to start proving the concept and rolling it out across government. So we really acknowledge that. And Minister, if you would pass on to Tony our gratitude there. I mentioned Peter Bauer from Mimecast. Peter is a great pioneer in his own right. He's built an amazing company. Mimecast is the sponsor for tonight, actually. And Nick Lennon, who is the country manager in support, I believe, is that your official title? Yeah, managing director. But the fact that you were able to bring your big boss here with you and we obviously grabbed him off your table and put him on ours. Peter, thank you for coming. You've heard a bit about what we do now, and hopefully we look forward to a bright future working with you, maybe at the international level as well. Like I said, there's a lot of thank yous because a lot of people have been helping. CyberCX is here tonight. Alistair McGibbon was a late withdrawal, obviously had some heavy travel requirements. But I want to acknowledge CyberCX having come through our pilot program just before Christmas. And we've got members of the team here in the room that did our training. And I think, where are you guys? There they are. So we've got Simon and some of the others on the table. Thank you for coming. We could ask them to talk about their experience, but I'm sure you'll get a sense of that through the panel. But really, it's the fact that you put your trust in us and are prepared to run a program, even if it's a pilot program, that you're the early adopters in your company and hopefully, again, become the advocates for us. We really appreciate that. Similarly, I want to acknowledge Allianz, and they are over on table, whatever that number is. And thank you, Stephen McKenzie-Muir, now has COVID, so couldn't be here, the CISO, but Stephen is also the CISO in the Allianz Tech, as Tech, and some of his team members. So you guys were the actual real pioneers. You did the very first CyberMinds program with me last April, so nearly a year ago, and we've got one of your ex-workers, Jessica Nguyen, who's on our panel, to talk about that experience. I just want to acknowledge that you were there at the beginning. Deloitte, where is the Deloitte table? Somewhere, there we are. Here we've got Kate Monkton and Lucy Mannering. Thank you both for being here tonight, bringing the team together. Again, a founding partner of ours. Huge validation of a brand like Deloitte to come in with Greg Janke and then Blackbird behind us. And again, we're having a conversation at the global level now with you guys as part of our mission to build this thing out internationally. I didn't mention that the iRest Institute has trained 7,000 facilitators in the iRest protocol. I'm one, Richard Mogg's one, so we're delivering it here. But we've got the ability to scale 400 in Australia, 4,000 in the US, 7,000 worldwide. And we're developing specific scripts for cybersecurity using the language and the culture and the understanding that we bring, and that's the way that we're delivering. So it's a fantastic effort, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done with companies like Deloitte, CyberCX, Allianz. David Manuel, Chair of ASIC, flew up from Melbourne late this afternoon to be with us. You've got a whole table here as well. You've got Amit and Kate and all the team here. I can't mention all your names, but I just want to acknowledge you came in very, very quickly. We signed an MOU within the first couple of weeks of talking about this. And the power of your 8,000 members nationally is hugely valuable. You've given us free exhibition space, running our ads through your conferences. I can't tell you how much that means to us. So here's to a long and fruitful partnership as we work together on this issue. Now, a very new organisation that was incorporated last year but only launched 3 weeks ago is what's known as the Critical Infrastructure ISAC. Have you heard of CI ISAC? They're starting to make big waves now. David Sandel is here today. Scott Flower is still, I think, up in Maroochydore. But the co-founders, we were on a conference call with you 10 days ago. It was like a 30-minute call. We could see straight away the synergies between the critical infrastructure providers and the mental health services that we bring. We've now formally inked the MOU 5 days ago. So again, a very powerful union there, and one that we will build on. So stay tuned and watch this space. Also, we've done an MOU with Corded, so the Council of University IT administrators, I think representing 38 universities in Australia. Richard Mogg brokered that agreement with us. Again, it was a no-brainer. It happened very quickly, and we're grateful to the leadership at Corded. And any of you here tonight from universities, just to let you know that we're ready. We've already started some discussions around bringing the program into the university side of things, who are equally under pressure. Cybersecurity Advisors Network, my colleagues at SciAC who are here tonight, I just want to big shout out to you, the new board members, Tulin, Ben Jones, who's not here, and Kim McDonald, re-elected, and all the other friends of mine from SciAC. Thank you for coming tonight. SciAC is a founding partner as well. and it's great to have the association support. I'm getting through it. I think that's probably all the thank yous. If I've forgotten you, then it wasn't because I didn't try hard to remember everybody. But come and beat me up later. I have a protocol that will help me manage my stress. Well, I have spoken a lot, and I'm conscious that I want to bring the minister up. I just want to say a little bit about purpose. Any initiative that humans bring to a problem requires a degree of focus, but it requires an intention to make a difference, to make change. And the intention and the purpose that we bring to the cybersecurity sector is our desire to alleviate human suffering and to preserve the mental health and to rebuild the mental health and to protect the mental health of those that are entering the space for the first time. So this is resilience that we want to build on the way in, ideally, because you don't ever want to get them to burn out. And we've got, I think, 60 students here tonight that we invited along. And I want to thank all the IATD and UTS and your lecturers, Priya Dasi Nanda from UTS. Thank you, Priya. And so we wanted to bring a lot of students here tonight to hear this, because we want you to understand that we're here, that this is a stressful job and it's an amazing career, but you need to protect yourself. And so we want to partner with those institutions to build the resilience in the new entrants to cybersecurity as something that is part of your skill set so that you can thrive, not just survive, but to thrive in the role. So our purpose is really twofold then. It's restorative, to help those that are already suffering, but it's also preventative. And the way we do it is through the protocol. As I said, you've got the sample in your little gift card envelope tonight. Please try it. You'll get an immediate effect. We also have some other things in there I want to share with you now. So we've got a little flyer on who it is, something about the protocol. You can read about that. It's very short. We've also got a scan there if you want more information about our program, or you can give it to a volunteer. Also, here's a volunteering one as well. We need lots of volunteers. You saw them here tonight. We're a startup, don't have any resources, but we've got a lot of passion, a lot of love, a lot of support. This is how you help. But also you can help by bidding at the auction. So a bit later on tonight, we've got an auction. We've got a great auctioneer in Jason Kazanis who's here tonight. We've got some great items that we're going to be inviting you to bid on. Not everyone wins at an auction. If you've ever been at an auction, you realise there can only be one winner. And so we've thought of that too, and we've created a little donation form that you can scan the QR and donate as much or as little as you choose to tonight, just to help support our capability building and support our cause. I think that's more than enough from me. I didn't have any more jokes, obviously comedian roles sort of falling short, but I do have the honour now of welcoming the Honourable Victor Dominello, Minister for Customer Services and Digital Government, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Peter. Can I begin by acknowledging the country and pay my respects to elders past and present? And thank you, Peter, for creating this amazing organisation. And it is so important. In fact, the first time I met you, when you were talking about building mental resilience, I thought about my own situation, because in politics, I think we need political minds, in every sense of the word in many ways. Because the stress levels are so intense. You know, I remember being part of that siege, the Link Cafe siege. I never was trained for that. But the stress levels in that were intense. I was never trained for a pandemic. But the stress levels in that every day, 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 meetings, till late at night. I was not trained for that. And it does take a toll. It really does. Like, the amount of times, my Chief of Staff, my amazing Chief of Staff, Matt Dawson's here, he would validate, like, you go as hard as you can, because you're forced to, and then you crash. It's just, we're not machines. Now, I don't particularly think that is healthy. It's definitely not healthy to me. But there's a release valve in politicians if we don't perform, every 4 years you can kick us out. So that's fine. But that doesn't apply really in the cyber world, where trust is paramount. Like, if somebody on the front line in terms of cyber doesn't perform, that could have a catastrophic consequence on lives. So if there is an attack in relation to health digital infrastructure, the grid, whatever, that will have a catastrophic consequence. We can't wait for 4 years to get rid of you. You are on the hook every minute of the day. And you're accountable pretty much every second of the day. And it would be extraordinarily hard in those circumstances to switch off. And that's why when Peter approached me, it just resonated. I see a frame, if you will, of what the people in the cyber industry go through. I remember when we had the cyber breach in Service New South Wales. Let me tell you, that was stressful. That was like appearing before Justice Kirby, when you had the press back, howling down you and saying, "What happened here? Why didn't you do this?" And literally just yelling at you, saying, "What happened?" Now, sure, I'm in front of the screen for an hour or so every other day dealing with the press. But imagine the people on the front line that see the consequences as it's hitting them, and then reliving it, and reliving it, and reliving it, and not just reliving it, then getting on to the next crisis that we're dealing with. Because the thing with cyber is there's no holiday. There's just constant attacks. And as you all know, the attacks are not getting dumber, they're getting smarter and more sophisticated. It is a tough game. But to Peter's point, to all the students in here, so rewarding, because you are making a profound difference. Think about all the digital infrastructure that we have and will continue to roll out in New South Wales, which is honestly not just nation-leading, world-leading, but the digital ID is just under discussion. What we're doing in relation to digital ID and coupling it with credentials and in a decentralised way, there's only us and Flanders, to my knowledge, and we're ahead, and maybe one or two other jurisdictions that is anywhere near this. It is world-leading. But underpinning all of this, whether it's digital ID, whether it's digital birth certificates, whether it's the education wallet that we're rolling out, whether it's the stuff we're doing in relation to live or a spatial digital twin, whatever it is, e-planning, e-construction, whatever we are doing, it is all based on trust. Because if you don't have trust in a digital age, you are cactus. And what does trust, what makes up trust? For me, it's privacy, security, transparency, ethics, inclusion, sustainability, but security being an anchor tenant of that. So what you do in the cyber industry is paramount to service delivery moving forward. If we're moving increasingly to keeping people out of hospitals, we're going to have to rely on digital platforms to measure what's going on so that we stay ahead of the curve to prevent them going to hospital. But if our trust in digital and the systems breaks down because of a breach, then people won't use it. And then we'll be rolling up to hospital and just blocking the systems and having very poor outcomes. So trust is critical, cyber is critical to trust. I'll end on this note, and it's that of Brad Arthur. I don't know if many of you followed the NRL, but I was at the dinner last night and Brad Arthur was speaking, and he's the paramedic head coach, and they made it to the finals last year, the grand final. They didn't get to the grand final, they didn't win, but they were almost up. But I asked them a question, people are asking questions like, how do you do this, blah, blah, blah. And I asked them, tell me the role that data plays on the data grid. Tell me the role that data plays in getting your team to the pinnacle. And he says, you have no idea where we are now to where we were 10 years ago. We literally track every player to an inch of their lives. And he said, and it was a really good observation, he said, the number one, if you had all the indicators in terms of success of whether you win a football game or not, the probably number one lead indicator is possession. It's not just 9/10 of the law, but possession in the football field means you got 51% possession, you got more chance of winning that football game. Because it means you're spending less energy tackling than the other team. And this really is a pretty basic equation. But he said in the final, leading up to the grand final, I think the Parramatta played the Cowboys. And he said that in that game, possession, Parramatta only had 40% of possession, yet they still won. But as he said, they played their grand final that because for them to win with 40% possession, they had to play out of their skins. They just could not bounce back. He knew pretty much that that was their grand final. He knew because they measured it. They can see, they measure players sprinting, how quickly it takes to bounce back, then to sprint again, how quickly it takes. So they could see through their muscle that they were not going to be at full capacity for the following week's grand final. So if I was to play that across the cyber world, what does that mean? You don't play with your muscles, or you do. It's your biggest muscle. So in the same way that the football team optimises performance by understanding their most important muscle and how to not just rehabilitate, to bounce back, but to sustain yourself. Cybersecurity is no different from that. It's the same. You need to have the tools, the data, to enable you to keep at your peak performance, because you are in grand finals pretty much every day. And on that note, again, let me thank you. Congratulations to you, Peter. This is visionary what you're doing. This just doesn't have application cyber. I can see the immediate application cyber, but increasingly, particularly in a knowledge workforce that we're increasingly moving into, we're going to have to give a lot more TLC to our minds in order to optimise performance in our workforce. So well done. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Minister Victor Dominello. I won't say any more. I think I've spoken enough just to let you know what's going on next. There's a little bit of time now where you can talk with yourselves. I mean, these networking events are important to give you that space. I believe the mains are coming out in about 15 minutes, and 10 minutes after that we're going to start our panel discussion. So feel free to just move around if you want to, and we'll be back again shortly. Thank you.